Hi, it's Roger Hance again, and welcome to Ambitious Broker. This particular episode is going to be with a gentleman by the name of Kyle Seyboth. He's from Rhode Island, a very interesting guy, only 12 years in the business, 13 roughly in the business, and he's already had years of doing over 500 transactions in a single year. Interesting guy. He puts himself in front of every single client, so he's not working as a classic team, although he has a lot of help. But he's got a very interesting mindset and a very interesting attitude about what it takes to succeed in the business, and I think you're going to enjoy. We've got a kind of a brief, only 30-minute session here, but enjoy it. Listen closely. He's a powerful guy. Take care. Hi, everybody. I wanted to welcome you to Ambitious Broker and introduce you to Kyle Seyboth. Kyle, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing well, Roger, and I appreciate you having me on. Thank you for having me on the Ambitious Broker. Pumped up, ready to go. 2025 is starting off really nicely. So, thanks for having me.
No, listen, I got to tell people a little bit. First of all, when did you start, Kyle, in the business?
2011, give or take, 2010, 2011.
2011. All right, so let's say you've been doing this for 13, 14 years.
Woof, yeah, probably 12, 13 years, yeah.
Yeah, and you've blown up, absolutely blown up. So 12 years, and in 12 years you become, in less than 12 years, but in only 12 years, you've been able to become the top #1 real estate agent in the world for Keller Williams. And man, the accomplishments, 500 plus transactions in multiple years, 400, it's mind-blowing. It really is. I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens with people in a long, over long careers where they'll build up to that type of thing. I think you may know Stephanie Vitaco. Do you know
I know the name. I don't know her.
Yeah, well,
but I do know the name.
Yeah, she was right up there with you at KW, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the world type of stuff, and been a friend for a long time. And she's been doing this for close to 30 years. And so after time, you build up, you do things right, and it seems to happen for them. But boy, you did it in such a short period of time. So I've got to know why people that are listening to this podcast. So talk to me first about how did you start? What got you into the real estate business?
So I started part-time and started basically just doing this as a gig to offset my full-time gig. So I was starting out part-time, trying to find enough money to basically just be able to afford a couple extra things, maybe a vacation every year, maybe sell a house or two per year. And, started out at Keller Williams, couldn't afford to start with RE/MAX when the person that got me into it was at RE/MAX. I couldn't afford the monthly payment. It was just too tight on my budget. And just kind of kept going. So like you said, I was #1 at KW from 2016 to 2019, #1 in the country amongst all agents in 2019 of all agencies and brokerages, and then started my own Century 21 branch and organization back in 2020 and been doing it ever since. So still at a high level. I don't know anyone, in my opinion, who's more competitive or a better salesperson. I just love what I do. I take it very serious. I'm up every day at 4:30 in the morning. I'm rocking and rolling, and I kind of got a new rejuvenation of hustle, of grit and determination this past year. Specifically the past 3 or 4 months. So I feel like I'm back to my ground roots, my grassroots rather, and ready to just crush it, man.
Well, tell me how you got there. So you start part-time, and then eventually you do a few deals apparently, and that gave you the confidence that you can get into this and make a living and drop the other gig.
Yeah, so I got there. So I started part-time and did a couple deals. First year did 7, second year did 14, then did 28, kept doubling to 40. Got to my last year I was part-time was 191 transaction sides. And I did 191 transaction sides working full-time as an investment advisor / stock analyst in Providence. And I was looking at my paycheck, and I remember at that point I was making probably $100K in the stock job, and I was working a lot, 9 to 5 every single day. And I did like $700K in commission that year.
Wow.
And I said, something doesn't make sense here. I'm spending 9 to 5 every day here doing this, but yet I made 700,000 doing this other thing. Something's off. And then decided to make the very tough plunge in my mind, because I came from a mindset of you go to work, you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job, you get benefits, you get 401k, you get life insurance, all that stuff, and that's how you rock and roll. So at the end of the day, for me, it was a really tough transition to go against kind of the grain and participate as a salesperson, commission only. Where I grew up, salespeople were looked at and frowned upon. It wasn't, it was, you go to work and you do either manual labor or you get a job and you work for someone else and you're not the boss. So
right.
That just wasn't the way I was built, though. I went against what everyone was kind of teaching me and telling me.
That's one of the hard parts, isn't it? I mean, hard parts of getting a commission is just that mental thing. Get over that, and then you're kind of on a hurdle.
Well, it depends. I think the beauty of it is my kids won't face that same hurdle, because I won't put my kids in that same kind of bracket where they're taught that, the American dream is, and that's no fault to my parents. They did a phenomenal job of giving me a lot of great tools. But I think what the disconnect was that you don't have to go and just be a worker bee. You right. can go and use an entrepreneurial spirit and go out there and build yourself. And, that's, if my kids have any of that in them, I'll be encouraging and supportive of that.
Yep. Well, I saw your video, or maybe one of your videos that showed you a time frame. It's pretty cleverly done. You put a little time clock on, each hour of the day or something, and what you're doing. And do you do that often? Was that a one-time deal?
No, as far as the schedule, is that how my schedule looks?
No, just the videotaping it that way.
So we've been experimenting with a bunch of different social media kind of videos and stills and small videos and small commercials. And what we said was, look, my days are every 15 minutes I'm in an appointment. Every 15 to 30 minutes I'm in an appointment. So let's try to document that so someone can see what that looks like. So we just want to give people a taste of what it looks like to be super high level sales, be out there on the external side, on the outside sales in real estate. And, I think the reality is probably 99.9999% of people wouldn't want to do what I do, because it's such a grind. It's such a hustle. And just this past Saturday, I think Saturday and Sunday this week, and I think I did 50 showings with buyers. So I start at usually 8 o'clock on a Saturday. I get done about 6, and then on Sunday I start about 9 and get done about 5. During the week, I'm in my home office at 4:30. My last appointment is typically 7:30. So it's go. I don't know if a lot of people would want to do that. I don't know if they'd want to put themselves in that situation. When you get in the car, the on button stays on, and it just goes until the day ends. When I get in, just hit the ground running. It's been probably the toughest year I've ever had. Nothing good comes easy, and nothing easy is good. So working at this every single day and trying to focus on the end goal, which is be as good as you can. Really that simple. I mean, I bring kids to school 5 days a week. My kids, she got her kids. It allows me to bond with both sets of kids, and I think that's good, right? It gives me that little bit of time with them. The older one, tonight she's got practice for basketball, game starting on Saturday. So I might have an interesting opportunity for us. That's huge. I have flips pending, right? I put a column that says educated guess on money coming back. The last 5 I've been spot on. All right, let's go. Thursday, writing down in the present tense. My life is great. I am a billionaire. 10 things I'm grateful for. I do this every day. Move the sales meeting to 11. So we'll talk about cutting that. We got to focus on recruiting. I want you to come in here every week with like an idea, a plan, something. I'm not going to be on your back. I don't want that. Let's get another company.
Let's look at these and see who needs to sign.
That's fine. We can use that. Your closing costs, right, will now include some of your buyer side commission. All right, we got this single family house here in Cranston, Rhode Island, fully occupied, nice little single family. Well, we're here on the west side, the Armory District, looking at this wonderful condo. Questions are all like things that are bad that can happen. We take our time. We do it at your pace. We do what you want. All I care about is you're happy. Hello? I don't know if you understand how huge this is. This allows us to really market to that person in Providence that wants to do an attached ADU. How you doing? you 167? What's up, man? I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you, brother. Good, nice to meet you. Which one is it? Final walkthrough, here we go. House is looking good. Ready to close on this puppy. What's up, man? Congratulations. I wanted to meet you here for a couple things. One, no problem. Absolutely. You need anything, let me know, all right? Whatever it was, I increased it because I got a bunch of engineering done. Whatever it is, it's $725. That's what it is. Zuli, please raise it to $725.
It might not even close tomorrow. I just found out 15 minutes ago that Latrellio's office is not the closing attorney, it's somebody else.
I at least want to learn. So even if I do lock it in for a certain amount, I don't even want a wholesale fee. I'll give it for cost.
Get due diligence. Get it so airtight where you can back out for sneezing wrong.
No,
so
I
just
wanna
shoot me a
think about it
text
today.
and we'll go next week. I met you at that Newport house, right?
I still have that one in Newport.
You do?
I got the 2 cheapest houses
In Aquidneck Island.
Island.
Hey, Thomas Kyle of Century 21, how are you? Good, how you doing? Just wanted to check in with you guys. No problem. Well, best of luck to you. So what we'll do, Larry, we'll walk through and then we'll talk about it after, okay?
Yeah.
After you, sir. Take your time, don't rush. Come on, Tommy. So here we got the kitchen, right? Gas, your email address and everything. And we'll start sending you some listings.
Well,
Sound
I
good?
appreciate that.
All right,
Kyle,
partner.
thank you for meeting me.
My pleasure.
But damn, it feels good, doesn't it? You run.
It's a beautiful feeling.
You run like an athlete, man.
I run like an athlete. I was an athlete in college, so I was kind of built for that. I've got a different type of mindset. I've got that competitive makeup and mindset. And you know, I really struggle with staffing. We've got a very big staff right now. We've got a lot of administrative help and a lot of support, and we've got a good crew right now. But I think the mindset shift that I have to make when I deal with them is very different.
How different? Well, no, I'll tell you what, look, I'm going to get
Very
there. I got to go back to the beginning here because when you first started and you're working part-time, you still were up to doing, 100 deals before you even actually went full-time at it. So when you first started in the real estate business, how were you looking for business? What was your prospecting methods?
So it was 191 deals my last year. My prospecting methods were real estate to contact sport. The more people you contact, the more chances you get. When I started making a couple bucks, I started investing in Zillow. And when I started investing in Zillow, it gave me the opportunity to realize I'm really good at closing people. I'm really good at building rapport. I'm really good at closing. I'm really good at building trust and really, really understanding what people are all about and how to really become a chameleon and relate to the folks. So I think that's been a really big factor for me. So at the end of the day, reinvesting in my business, taking money and trying different things, different social media platforms, different landing pages, all bunch of different stuff that I used and worked on. And, that's ultimately how I got there.
So you're buying leads. And so when you're buying leads like that, there's a technique to converting those things. And to your mind, it came down to your ability to connect. Listen, I know one of your videos you were talking about how important you felt the skill of communication is, and
I mean that's what we do. I mean we're in sales, and I think you could be one of two salespeople. You can be a relatable salesperson, or you can be a pushy salesperson. And I pride myself on being relatable.
Right.
I don't need to sell you a house. I don't need you to buy that house. I need you to trust me and entrust me to help you with the process of buying a house or selling a house or helping someone buy or sell a house. So I'm not looking for one transaction. I'm looking for me to be your go-to person when it comes to real estate.
Right. Your last 500 transaction year, how would you break those transactions down from your sources?
So it's 575. It was about 60% sphere / repeat / investor based. 30% were either some sort of lead, whether it was a internet lead or a Zillow lead or a lead program that we paid for, and the last 10% were open houses.
Open houses. And how many people you got on a team helping you with the open houses and all this stuff?
So I'm the only agent that sells. So there's no other agent. That number is just mine. I know every single client, every single deal, every single transaction, every single address. However, how I've set it up where if we do open houses, we've got the brokerage to help where we can send it out to our agents, whoever wants to cover. If I can't be in two places at once, I'll have an agent that'll go in, open the door. For example, if it's a listing and the folks live there and they don't want a lockbox, we'll have someone that's a very capable agent go out and open the door. But I go to all the buyer appointments for the most part. and just keep going and rocking. And, right now I've got something to prove. And there's something here that's building inside of me to prove again that, I have that ability to get back to that 500 number if I want.
Right. Well, that's an amazing number, and it's amazing to do it. But I think it's one of the problems with teams in general, both in terms of productivity, in terms of client service, in terms of agent relationships, is when the agent, like yourself, gets disconnected from your client. I'm still in an escrow business out here, and we find a lot of complaints from clients because they enter a transaction with someone and then they end up not talking to that person. They talk to a team member and
No, so we talk to, we have a very, very strict communication cadence. If I show you a house, you'll hear from me the next day for a follow-up. And then every week thereafter till you buy, tell me to screw up, tell me to pound sand, or, you die, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you are pending in a transaction, every Thursday we'll follow up with you to see if you have any questions. If you're putting offers in or you're in that stage, you'll be getting a text message with myself and my administrative assistants throughout the process. So everybody is all on the same page. There's never a situation where somebody's not speaking to me if they need to. But at the same time, I don't need to be involved in every conversation.
Right.
I can delegate enough where my staff is strong enough to go ahead and help folks answer very simple questions.
Yeah, one of the things I talk about is that somebody that starts getting in the position of doing a lot of business, you want to be perceived as your decision making or your consultation with decision making is the most important thing.
I look at it like this: like, my job is to be the face. And my face is to be in front of you. So until we get you pending, you will see my face as many times as possible. You will hear from my voice as many times as possible. But I do not need to I do not need to do any paperwork. I do not need to do any emails. I do not need to do anything in that sort that is administrative at nature. That can be delegated away.
I think that's brilliant. I really do. It's the right way to do it. What do you do now? Are you still buying leads? Or you counting on this Sphere stuff again?
No, we're still buying leads. We're spending about $15,000 a month on Zillow. We've got Sync, which I'm not sure if we're going to keep or not. We're still buying Zillow. We got rid of Realtor.com. Right now, Zillow is enough for me to kind of do what I need to do. Right. We've got a good amount of off-market deals that we do as well, whether they be below market value or at market value, or just a seller that doesn't want to move the property on the market.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just trying to find as many different avenues as we can to help build this thing up.
What's the trick to making Zillow work for you?
It's speed to lead. So a lead comes in, we set up the appointment. Not only do we set it up, we try to get there as soon as possible, try to get them in as soon as possible. And it's not about just getting them in, it's about getting me in front of them.
Right.
Because I bring a certain level of credibility and, credibility and also experience that a lot of agents won't have. So if I get in front of an agent A, B, and C get in front of that same buyer, I would bet on myself any day.
Right. You seem to have some pretty tight systems. It seems like we haven't talked about in detail, but I think when you're meeting someone, you become flypaper to them. They're not shaking you. They're not shaking you.
Not at all.
So what kind of technology are you using?
So we're doing we're pretty old school. Everything's in Google Calendar. So the follow-up is in Google Calendar. As far as our CRM, we've got a very big database in it's a company called Send and Blue we use for our email database. We get a lot of email stuff out there. Social media-wise, we're doing an excellent job with our social media, making sure that we're putting the right videos out, making sure we're staying connected to folks. I've got a scoreboard for myself that we started in this year. And what the scoreboard does is it has accountability metrics that I need to hit. If I don't hit those accountability metrics, then we've got a problem and we're not going to get to our goal. So the accountability metrics are in there. We're focused and excited about doing everything we can to make sure we get me in front of as many people as possible. And
that accountability means that you've set some goals on number of calls, number of appointments, follow-up.
Yeah, let me pull it. Hold on 1 second. I got it.
We're going to hold you accountable here.
So it's buyer appointments, it's new client appointments, it's buyer showings, it's text messages it's Instagram and Facebook text messages, it's listing appointments, open houses, SOI text, SOI phone calls, SOI appointments, pending deals, written offers, new listings listed. So there's about 20 things that have a score metric across the board, and we need to hit a certain score by the end of the week. So we're just making sure we focus on that.
Wow, that's amazing. Lot of emphasis. I mean, you don't get into the numbers that you're doing right now until you put a lot of priority on how time gets spent.
My time is very valuable. My time is becoming more and more valuable. Not only do I do this, I own a private lending organization called Limitless Capital. We lend out funds to people that are looking to fix and flip. I own a big chicken franchise, which is almost like a Chick-fil-A. I own a cannabis dispensary in Massachusetts. I own a company called NE Tiny Homes, which is an ADU/tiny home manufacturer and company, corporate owned, and we will be franchising in 2025. I also own a non-producing branch of Semper Home Loans and a brokerage with over 200 agents in it. So My time is extremely valuable. My time will get more and more valuable as these things become better and better. And we do development-wise, you probably flip 50 to 100 houses. We're developing 100 plus units ground up or reconstruction of existing schools and churches. So really just excited about everything in front of me. But now it's time to buckle down and use your time as efficiently as possible.
Why'd you decide to go to on your own and then even more so get into a franchise operation? Are you trying to grow a sales force now as well?
Because I look at it like this. So what I've done is built up a heck of a bus theory. And what the bus theory is, if I ever get hit by a bus, this whole thing crumbles. So what we're trying to do is avoid having that. So step one was to open a brokerage, to avoid having everything rely on me. So we went through a lot of different trials and tribulations and good and bad and growing pains and whatnot. And we're at the point now where I think we've got a lot of good things figured out. Step two was to reinvest some of the income into some of these other businesses that should produce not only active, but also passive income for me going forward. Currently, I'm 42. Goal is at 45 to have the passive and active income of the other businesses to overcompensate what I do now.
Got it. So salespeople, are you bringing salespeople in as individuals and training them from scratch so they're on their own? Or is your company primarily supportive of your efforts?
No, we have 200 agents that are individual agents that produce at their own level. So we have silos of agents, some that are on team, some that are individual. And we just kind of figured out from there. So we're trying to reorganize that in a way that I think makes a lot of sense. Sometimes more doesn't mean better. Right. Sometimes more means more headaches. So we have asked a bunch of folks to leave because it didn't make financial sense.
Right. What are you going to tell a brand new licensed person today? Your best advice to them in your first 10 minutes with them?
Join the team. Imitate, emulate, replicate, and repeat. Join a team and learn what they do and understand how it works and make as much bucks as you can. But the key is to learn the game and learn the system. Right. Join a team that's well-oiled, well-rounded, and can provide you with the leads you need.
Okay. And if I'm someone who's been in the business for 10, 15 years, and I've just been on this plateau, and I want to take and jump to the next level, what kind of conversation you have with people about that?
Show me your calendar. I'll show you your success. Show me what you do every day. Prove to me that you're spending every single minute of your day as efficiently as possible. If you're an athlete, prove to me that you understand that during the game, and the game, what I mean is during the time of your workday, that you're putting every possible minute into your work so that you can get the most out of it.
Right.
If you can't prove that to me, then this is on you first.
Okay. You had a great line I heard in one of your videos, which kind of speaks to your commitment to time. And you said, what was the right word? Oh, you said sleep is a rude interruption.
Correct.
That's a great line, Kyle.
So
it's a great line, man.
Yeah, sleep's a rude interruption to your day. And I think at the end of the day, one thing that I look at now, and I've said this the last few months, I've kind of got this new fire back. I wake up at, like I said, 4:30, like I'm a kid at 6 years old, ready for Christmas.
Right.
That's how excited I am and ready to go. Because again, just kind of ready to take this thing back and run with it.
Well, yeah, it's funny you've talked about when you got in the business. You were obviously a pretty motivated guy. What kind of sports were you involved with? You said in college.
Basketball.
You played basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's a competitive sport. So
it is.
So you get in the business world now, and you're used to structure. You're used to probably practicing and
yeah. This is easy
behavior.
for me. This is easy for me. The translation from what I did and how hard I worked there is very simple. This is not. This translation is very simple. It's not physical. It's more mental.
Right.
And if you can handle physical fatigue like I used to handle, then you can handle this.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you get to a point to where your sales, where you said, I think I'm going to be really good at this? Do you remember what?
Probably year two.
Year two.
When I hit 20-something sales and the brokerage I was with were like, wow, these numbers are crazy. And I'm like, I didn't even really try.
Right.
I don't even really know what the hell I'm doing yet.
Right.
So like, let me really learn this thing. And then once I started to learn it, it just got to a point where I was like, oh man, I got this. Like, let me really figure this out.
So on your appointments, are you teaching, and do you have very specific appointment with a buyer, a presentation to get a buyer, or you just jump in?
Jump right into it. I've never given a pamphlet, never given a folder, and never given a piece of paper. I want you to work with me for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to work with me because I can print nice material.
Right. But still you have a system of some sort. Once you're meeting this person, you're not letting that person get out of your life. So you do have an established system of follow-up at least, right?
Yeah, the follow-up is, like I said, we meet today. Tomorrow you'll get a text, and every week thereafter you're going to get text from me. You're going to get listings from me every single day after we meet, and we're going to follow up with you, and we're going to show you things, and we're going to bust our hump to get you to that level to buy a house.
Has this new seller or buyer contract thing made any difference in your relationship with these people?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. Nope.
You just say, sign here.
Irrelevant noise.
Yeah. How about go to your listing side? I'm sure you have a sort of a more canned presentation for your listings, or no?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. I just want to learn the person. I don't care if I'm selling real estate, soap boxes, hot tubs. It's the same thing. You're just selling a product. And I think at the end of the day, if you can be an expert in your field and you can build credibility and you can have a conversation and be a normal person, relatable, I think you can sell.
Right.
It's the ones that go in there and they force it, or they're not really, it's not natural. I think that's where you see the problem. If you don't have that natural and uncanny ability to be a good salesperson and a good person, you'll never be a good salesperson.
What do you want to know about me as a seller when you first walk into my house?
I want to know who you are. I want to know what you do. I want to know if you're married, if you're not. Do you have kids? What are you looking to do? What's your goals, wants, desires, and needs? Is it about price? Have you had anybody else look at the house? Have you had a situation where you tried to sell in the past and it wouldn't move? Are you an investor? Are you a flipper? Do you have other properties? Is this the only property you have? What are you looking to do with me? How can I help you? What's the commission you're comfortable paying, and what's the price you want for the property?
So you're ask a lot of questions and be a good listener.
But I'm not going to bombard you. I'm going to know when and where to ask the question.
Right.
I'm going to slow play it.
You wrote a book.
I did.
Tell me about it. Be the best version of yourself.
How to be the best version of yourself.
Right.
And if you can do that and you can focus on that, you can be very successful. And if you can be honest with yourself and be honest with your good and your bad traits, and try to improve on your bad traits and try to make your good traits even better, or try to diversify yourself and delegate some of the things you're not good at, you can become a better version of yourself. But if you wake up every day with no plan, no game plan, and you're just willy-nilly, you're never going to be a better version of yourself.
You know, I'm a football guy. I coached football through small college. My son played at USC, and so I spent a lot of time coaching. And one of the things that's always been interesting to me, because as an athlete, as a coach, you spend a lot of time working on things that you're not good at. In fact, it's disproportionate. You probably spend more time working on stuff you're not good at. I found that people in real estate had a tough time accepting the things that they weren't good at. It almost would be a self-image defeater or something.
It's the ego thing.
An ego thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you say, no, I'm good at what I do. I'm doing business, and I got all this stuff that's good. Now let's get better, right? And work on
correct. And that 99.9% of agents don't have that mentality. 99.9% of people don't have that mentality. They think they're good at it. I know I'm not good at everything. I know I have room to improve. I know I can be better. I know every day I'm going to try to learn something and make it better the next day. Right. I know that there's so many things that I had to do and change from my past to get to the point where I'm at now, where I'm ready to take this thing to another level. I mean, if you see behind me, if you can't read, it's probably backwards. But if you see behind me, it says it's the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. We can't miss any shots.
Right.
Like right now, I can't miss a shot.
Right.
I'm in a position right now where I'm at. I can't miss. I got to make every shot. I got to shoot 100%.
So your security isn't coming from the sense that you know everything. It's coming from I'll find the answer to the things I don't know.
My favorite phrase is figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. You got to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, I don't know what to tell you.
Any massive bullets out of your best version of yourself, or was that it?
No, I mean, I think it's a lot of 1 and 2 liners, 3 liners that you can kind of read and understand. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, and it's inspirational as well as positive. And I think that's what the purpose of the book was. Anyone that's in sales that, feels like they're defeated or can't do it, take a look at it, take a read on it. I'm not trying to be a best-selling author. That's not the goal right now. Am I trying to be a national coach? Yes. Am I trying to be on a national stage? Yes. Am I trying to be in a point where I'm a household name? Yes. But I need to do what I need to do now to get there. And that's why on that board, it says it's the fourth quarter. You can't miss. I've got the track record. I've got the credibility. Now it's time to execute that and put that to the next level.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, I had a pretty successful sales career and built the companies all pretty, and we did really well. We had 700 salespeople and a bunch of offices, and I've interviewed a lot of people on this show, and I love this attitude of yours. I've had a lot of luck myself with agents through the years that has some athletic, background and weren't afraid to lose, weren't afraid to compete, and actually got more motivated by it, So
compete.
You run across people that that you look at them and you go, you don't have a goal. Does it surprise you? And does there anything can you fire that person up?
Yeah, I can't let it surprise me anymore. I kind of just chalk it up as everybody's different, and I can't force someone to do something they don't want to.
Right.
There's very few people that are on this wavelength that are in this kind of zone. But you can't force someone to be in the zone they don't want to be in, and you can't force someone to have discipline and consistency and work ethic and drive. And I think there's a lot of other things in people's lives that get in the way. And I understand. I have 2 beautiful children, 9 and 11, and I do everything I can to show them I'm not the guy who's going to be sit on daddy's lap and let me read you a bedtime story. Right. I'm the guy that when you're 15, 16 years, 17 years old, you're going to say, well, I didn't realize my dad was doing all that. How can I learn that? How can I be a part of that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So right now it's understanding who you are, what you want to be, and what legacy you want to leave.
My advice to a lot of the owners that I talk with is along the lines here, and that is that you cannot solve a problem someone doesn't have. So if they don't have a goal, tough, man. It's tough. Your first step is help them get the goal, and then you got a problem, right?
And I say to my people, I got a minute here left. I say to my people, like, you got 2 choices. You can piss in the toilet or piss in the wind. My goal is always to walk to the bathroom and piss in the toilet. Now, people that don't have any goals, they're pissing on their leg because they're in the wind. And I think that's the reality of it. So you got 2 options. You either, when you wake up in the morning, you can wake up and go to the toilet and go to the bathroom, or you could go on the floor. And if you don't have a goal, you're pissing on the floor.
Right. Well, I think we're pushing your time limit here, my friend. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking some of your precious time out and sharing a little bit with us. And nothing but congratulations to you. If anything I can ever add to your life, feel free to call. And in the meantime, go make it happen.